Hello, welcome back to the Fifth Row. I'm back with a special guest.
Hello.
This big, tall man. We're going to be talking about 2016 and the year that we went through
The
this
ups,
year.
downs, and
everything in between.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
We're going to get some of the questions that, biggest disappointment, biggest underrated movie, or most underrated movie. So without further ado, let's just get right into it.
My first question is, what is your OMG movie of the year? That's the movie where you saw it, and as soon as you were walking out of the theater doors, your jaw was dropped. Either for a movie that was so good that your jaw dropped, or a movie that was so bad that your jaw dropped. For me, that movie is The Arrival.
Ooh.
Because when I was watching that movie,
Okay.
and how everything unfolded at the end, when she was talking to the aliens, and when everything was coming full circle, I nearly cried.
You know what? I'm going to give you two since the question kind of brings me up too. For good, there's a movie I don't think you saw yet, Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did sit there in the theater for like 5 minutes after the movie was over, just watching the credits. And not only me, there were multiple people in the theater just sitting there. And it was just kind of like a weird experience. So that's for the good. For the bad, it has to be Suicide Squad. Because we had a movie that was going well, and then towards the end, it just shit all over itself. Yeah.
Just went...
Yeah, and we didn't all just sit there like deflated. We all just were very confused as to what happened towards the end of that one.
It's kind of like, our reaction was like watered down of what our Fantastic Four reaction was. When we were all just like, what's happening?
Those two movies go one in the same now. What is the biggest disappointment of the year? What movie were you looking forward to, and then as soon as it came out, it let you down big time?
For me, it's Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Because you had a movie that like looked as if DC was turning their trend and moving upwards, because DC has put out a lot of questionable movies. So I thought that Will Smith, Margot Robbie, Jared Leto is a Joker, which I was skeptical about in the first place. But then that movie just took my hopes and dreams and just threw them out.
Biggest disappointment. I'm going to break the rules and give you two. The first one is very recent, and it's a movie that video game people had their hopes and dreams on. It's Assassin's Creed. It can only be Assassin's Creed. It's a very bad movie. My friend Jake fell asleep while he was watching the movie, and I would be mad at him, but at that point I was just like, you know what, you didn't miss anything. Secondly, it's a movie that when I say it, you're going to be like, wow, that came out this year, and you're probably going to do it too. Hail Caesar.
Yes.
Hail Caesar had a movie with so much going for it. Directors had an amazing cast, but when I sat down and watched it, it was like I was watching nothing happen on screen. It was like I was watching someone try to do a bottle flip challenge for 2 hours straight. I kind of like drank the juice a little bit. I drank the Kool-Aid, and then as time went on, I was like, wow, that was really not good. There's nothing really memorable about that movie.
Moving on, what is your 24/7 movie of the year? And this is like the movie that you could put in your DVD player and just watch all day, every day, for hours.
I'm not sure we're going to have the same answer, but there's only one answer for me. It's Deadpool. I'm sure I've watched this almost 10 times this year. It's so simple, too. Like, that's the thing with this movie. It's a simple storyline, but it's a movie that stays so true to the character that you just can't stop watching it, and that's what I love about it.
And we have the same exact answer, and I think we could both agree that Ryan Reynolds was born.
Yeah.
His purpose on this earth was to play Deadpool. Deadpool is a fantastic movie. I could watch that. Like Richard said, I've watched it multiple times in theaters. It's on HBO Go, so I've been rattling through that. So anytime I'm bored or I want to watch a movie that is a safe bet, I just put on Deadpool.
What was the most underrated movie of the year? What's the movie that no one's really talking about? One that went under the radar?
For me, I'm going to break the rules again, like you are, and two movies in mind. One is 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie, from beginning to end, was captivating and just all around fantastic. I absolutely fell in love with that movie. And the second one is, for me, it's 13 Hours.
Okay.
13 Hours was such an interesting movie for me, because I like those movies like the Zero Dark 30, like the inside of the war story movies. So the movie of Benghazi with John Krasinski and a whole slew of supporting cast that blew that movie out of the water. I think that movie isn't getting that much love, and I love that movie.
It's actually really funny that you said 13 Hours, because I also put down 13 Hours for one of them. I did put two. But 13 Hours, yeah. And it's something that we've never really seen John Krasinski do, and I think he's a good actor. I mean, you can't really have that much range in The Office, but we saw his range in 13 hours.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
When this movie came out in January, and I remember us raving about this movie when we were going home. Top pick, I think that it's Everybody Wants Some, Richard Linklater film. It's a movie that kind of came out in April, and it was right before summer, so it was right before we got, Civil War, stuff like that. The characters are so captivating, and they're so charismatic, and they're so likable. The movie is easily rewatchable for me. I could watch it, tens of thousands of times.
Your best movie-going experience. This is the movie that you saw in theaters, and the atmosphere around you made the movie that much better.
For me, it's Deadpool. It has to be. I mean, I've been looking forward to a Deadpool movie for 10 years. Not necessarily as long as Ryan Reynolds has, but ever since that X-Men Origins movie came out and we saw Deadpool go to waste, I was just like, God, I just hope that he gets his chance, because he did come out at the end credit scene and he opened his eye or something. But yeah, I remember Machinima putting out videos of saying how this movie was in development hell. I just remember IGN covering stories about how this movie could come on the rise. And then even when the test footage leaked...
test footage was so good.
Yeah, I remember people telling me that it was still not going to happen. And then a year later after that, it finally started happening. And then I remember being in the theater, and as soon as the movie started, I said out loud, I couldn't even keep it to myself anymore, I said out loud, I can't believe this is happening right now. So yeah, Deadpool, without a doubt, is my best movie-going experience. It was just something that I couldn't believe was happening.
You're gonna be kind of surprised and maybe say really? But my best movie-going experience this year that I can remember was when we went to go see Popstar.
Popstar, okay.
Because, just the jokes in that movie, and if you haven't seen that movie yet, please go watch that. But the jokes in that movie were so lively and brought such a rich laughter from everyone that it was literally filling the room with laughter. Popstar was my best movie-going experience.
It was so different too.
It was really different.
Very different from the comedies we get nowadays, and that's one of the most that's the reasons why it's the biggest surprises of the year for me. So lastly, I'm going to ask you this: what movie came out a little bit early in the year and kind of grew on you?
For me, it's going to be Batman vs Superman.
I have
because
the same answer.
When we saw that movie, we were so disappointed walking out.
Yeah.
And then once I saw it again, and maybe the third time, I was just like, this movie isn't that bad. There's a lot of Zack Snyderisms in that movie. They're inexcusable. But Batman vs Superman is a decent film. And Ben Affleck is a very bright spot in that movie.
Yes. I think the thing is with Batman v Superman for me is it's one of those movies that I appreciate more for the movie making process of it. I love the score for this movie, and I think that the Zack Snyder things, his imagery and his visuals, they really grab onto me, and that's why I think that Zack Snyder would be better as a co-director and have someone else drive the story along. Because the Martha thing does not work for me. There's a lot in this movie that does not work for me at all, and it's totally inexcusable, like you said. So yeah, Batman v Superman. I asked that question because of Batman versus Superman.
When I saw that question, I was just like, "There's no other answer."
Yeah. All right.
That's all she wrote.
Thank you, Chris Malini. Christopher Brandon Malini.
I am off back to the other corner of the world. So.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another one of my videos. I'm Scuba Stitch from the Fifth Row.
I'm Chris Malini, now a guest on the Fifth Row. This is weird.
And this is Harambe wearing the Scuba Stitch mask. We are out. See you next time. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm gone.
Goodbye.